North Korea is one of the most secretive countries on Earth. Very little information escapes its borders. Satellite images, military parades, missile launches, and rare intelligence leaks are often the only glimpses the world gets into the country's military capabilities. But despite its isolation, North Korea has built one of the largest militaries in the world. A military designed around survival, deterrence, and the constant threat of war. And today, many experts believe North Korea may be far more dangerous than most people realize. So how powerful is North Korea's military really? And what would happen if conflict erupted on the Korean Peninsula? Let's find out. To understand North Korea's military strategy, we first need to understand its geography and history. The Korean Peninsula technically remains in a state of war. The Korean War ended in 1953 with an armistice, not a peace treaty. That means tensions between North and South Korea never fully disappeared. And because the North Korean government sees survival as its highest priority, the military became central to nearly every aspect of the country. Today, North Korea maintains one of the world's largest standing armies. Millions of active soldiers and reserve personnel are believed to be available in case of conflict. Military service plays a major role in society, and enormous resources are directed toward defense despite the country's economic struggles. But numbers alone do not tell the full story. Because North Korea's greatest military strength is not conventional power. It's unpredictability. The country has spent decades building underground facilities, fortified artillery positions, missile bases, and hidden military infrastructure designed to survive attacks. Many military assets are buried deep inside mountains or hidden within tunnels. This makes them difficult to detect and destroy quickly. And that creates a major challenge for enemy forces. One of North Korea's most dangerous advantages is artillery. Thousands of artillery systems are positioned near the border with South Korea. Some experts believe these weapons could target the Seoul metropolitan area within minutes of a conflict beginning. And that's significant because Seoul is one of the largest cities in the world, located relatively close to the border. Even without nuclear weapons, conventional artillery alone could cause massive destruction during the early stages of war. But of course, the world's biggest concern is North Korea's nuclear program. Over the years, North Korea has conducted multiple nuclear tests and missile launches despite international sanctions and pressure. These tests demonstrated steady improvements in missile technology. Today, North Korea claims to possess ballistic missiles capable of reaching regional targets, and potentially even parts of the United States. That changes the entire strategic equation. Because nuclear weapons give North Korea something extremely important: deterrence. The government understands that nuclear capability makes direct military action against the country far more dangerous. And from Pyongyang's perspective, that may be exactly the point. Now let's talk about missiles. North Korea has invested heavily in ballistic missile development. Short-range missiles, medium-range missiles, submarine-launched missiles, and intercontinental ballistic missiles, also known as ICBMs. Some launches showed missiles traveling extremely high and long trajectories, raising international concern about their potential range. The country has also displayed hypersonic missile concepts during military exhibitions. Although the true effectiveness of these systems remains uncertain, the rapid pace of development worries defense analysts around the world. And then there are submarines. North Korea's submarine fleet is not considered among the world's most advanced. But even older submarines can become dangerous in regional conflicts, especially when combined with missile technology and surprise tactics. Because military strategy is not always about having the best equipment. Sometimes it's about creating uncertainty. And North Korea relies heavily on uncertainty. Another major concern is cyber warfare. In modern conflict, countries no longer need to rely only on bombs and missiles. Cyber attacks can target banks, infrastructure, communications, and government systems. North Korea has repeatedly been accused by multiple countries of conducting cyber operations and hacking campaigns linked to financial theft and espionage. This means future conflict could involve not only military attacks, but also digital warfare happening silently across networks around the world. Now here's where things become extremely dangerous. Miscalculation. Tensions on the Korean Peninsula can escalate very quickly. Military exercises, missile tests, political statements, naval incidents. Any misunderstanding between heavily armed rivals creates risk. And because multiple major powers are involved in the region, even a small conflict could rapidly grow into a much larger crisis. The United States maintains a strong military presence in South Korea and Japan. China closely watches regional stability near its border, and neighboring countries remain deeply concerned about the possibility of escalation. This creates one of the most heavily militarized regions on Earth. But despite all the tension, large-scale war has been avoided for decades. Why? Because the consequences would be catastrophic for everyone involved. A modern war on the Korean Peninsula would likely involve missiles, artillery, airstrikes, cyberattacks, naval warfare, and potentially nuclear escalation. Millions of civilians could be at risk. Global markets would react immediately, and regional instability could spread rapidly across Asia and beyond. This is why diplomacy remains so important. Even during periods of intense hostility, communication channels between nations help reduce the risk of accidental conflict. Now let's address another important question. How advanced is North Korea's military technology really? The answer is complicated. Some parts of the military rely on outdated Soviet-era equipment. Many aircraft and armored vehicles are older compared to modern Western systems. But North Korea focuses heavily on asymmetric warfare. Instead of matching larger powers weapon for weapon, it develops systems designed to create fear, uncertainty, and strategic pressure. Missiles, artillery, special forces, cyber warfare, underground infrastructure, and nuclear capability. This approach allows North Korea to remain a serious military threat despite economic limitations. The country also possesses one of the world's largest special forces units. These troops are believed to train for infiltration, sabotage missions, reconnaissance, and unconventional warfare. In the event of conflict, such forces could play a major role behind enemy lines. And because so much information about North Korea remains secretive, uncertainty itself becomes part of the strategy. Rivals must prepare for worst-case scenarios because they never fully know what capabilities exist behind closed borders. That secrecy creates fear, and in military strategy, fear can be powerful. Now the world faces a difficult challenge. How do you manage tensions with a nuclear-armed state that values secrecy, deterrence, and military survival above everything else? There are no easy answers. Sanctions have not stopped weapons development completely. Military pressure increases risks, and diplomacy often moves slowly. Yet despite all these challenges, avoiding war remains the top priority for nearly every major power involved. Because a conflict involving North Korea would not remain isolated for long. The consequences could reshape global security overnight. North Korea remains one of the most mysterious military powers in the modern world. A country isolated from much of the international system, yet capable of influencing global security decisions through missiles, nuclear threats, and strategic unpredictability. And as technology continues evolving, the risks and tensions surrounding the Korean Peninsula may become even more complex in the years ahead.